Miss said, wow. Someone's still waking up. What's up, YouTube? Good morning. Good morning, Live Me. Good morning, YouTube. What's up, Joe? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. Right now, YouTube is up 21-10. Man, we might have to start. Basing it off of the YouTube viewers and not off of the Live Me viewers anymore. Just listen to the new Patron post. The recording sounds awesome. Thank you, Joe. Joe's referencing yesterday. I was in the recording studio doing a recording some music, and I posted one of the songs for my patrons, and it was a fun time. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, Joe. I hope any other patrons on the stream, I hope you enjoyed it as well. Guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Because we surpassed the number on YouTube. Get your news on with Ron. I want to know what's going on. We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. I want to know what's going on. We're getting our news on today. You tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together. We'll make it our own. Get your news on with Ron. I want to know what's going on. Get our news on today. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means you guys tweet me articles and we talk about them, and that's how we build this show. You guys tell me what we want to talk about, and that's what we want to talk about. You can tweet me articles at Ron Placone. If this is your first time, you don't know how it goes, tweet me articles at Ron Placone, or you can go over to our Reddit, which let me pull that up right now. It's just reddit.com/r/getyournewsonwithron. And you can post articles there, and that's how we do our thing here. Fun fact of the day, you guys, Stephen Hawking did not believe in heaven, but he did believe in universal health care. Also, somewhere, someplace, someone is offering thoughts and prayers to Stephen Hawking. And if there is a God, which I don't believe there is, but if there is one, he or she is laughing at the irony. Good morning, everybody. Happy Pi Day. I don't know much about the math stuff, but I do know that I'm going to use that as an excuse to eat a piece of pie at some point later today. That's something I'm going to do. The restaurant my girlfriend works at has excellent key lime pie. So I think what we might do is we might just go over to there. We might just go over there and eat a piece of pie. Lady says, sad about Stephen Hawking. A bright light has indeed left us. The Earth's IQ went down several hundred digits. Absolutely. But you know what? It's a beautiful thing because he shouldn't have lasted past, I think, 26. They told him he had a year to live when he was 26 years old. He ended up living to 76. So you know what? And he had a lot of life in his years. So, you know, go strong, Stephen Hawking. And it's all circular, right? In an infinite universe and infinite timelines. Derek says, good afternoon, comrades. Hello, everybody. Hello. Yvette wants to talk about Conor Lamb. For those of you that don't know, I'd imagine most of you do. For those of you that don't, Conor Lamb is the congressional candidate who won a special election over in Pennsylvania's 18th district against Rick Saccione. So let's talk about it. I do have some stuff to say about it, and we're going to have to you guys are going to have to bear with me and unpack this with me. And as Joe points out, he barely won. He won by, I believe, about 470 votes. So here's the thing. First of all, and as Joe points out, that margin of victory should have been bigger. So I got to be honest with you guys. I have a personal, kind of a personal connection here, which is why I have not been tweeting very much about Conor Lamb. Um, Conor Lamb went to my high school. He was a year ahead of me in school. And so I have some friends, some close friends even, that worked on that campaign. So, on a personal level, I'm happy for them. It's hard not to be. These are people that I grew up with and have known most of my life, like literally like about 3/4 of my life or more. So it's impossible not to be happy for them. Of course, I'm happy for them. Also, he beat a despicable Republican. I mean, it's not like because Conor Lamb's political positions are not necessarily what I would like or anywhere close to it. We're going to get to that next. But it's not like he beat some progressive. He beat a despicable Republican who I would say was definitely worse than him. So on a personal level, I'm happy for them. However, on the other side of that, looking at it objectively and from a standpoint of strategy, Conor Lamb is not progressive at all. Conor Lamb is he's anti-choice, even personally. He's one of those like leave it up to the states, let the people decide. It's a right, but I'm personally opposed to it. Which, by the way, that's what most Republicans say. By the way, he's against single payer. He's against living wages. He's pro drilling. He is. Let's see. I mean, he's not really for a Green Deal. I mean, here's the thing. The last time Conor Lamb ran in something that I was cognizant of, it was, again, when we were in high school. When we were in high school, Conor Lamb ran for student council president. In student council president elections, you can't really tell the candidates apart, so you just vote for the person that you like the most. I never thought that all these years later, he would win a congressional race running under the same principles. I mean, there's not much that made him different from his Republican opponent, but he did win a popularity contest, barely. And what it sends to the Democratic Party and what it sends to the establishment and the public in general is the wrong message. I even saw in a USA Today article that said now Democrats are inspired and mobilized that they can run anywhere in Trump country if they just run on anti-Trump fatigue. People are so tired of Trump, they're going to vote for the Democrat. Meaning we're going to run the center-right candidates because people hate Trump that much that just not being Trump, not being a Republican is enough to win. Not only is that not what the Democratic Party should be doing, because it doesn't really help with any real change, but it's also not even true. Here's the thing about Conor Lamb's district. Conor Lamb's district included some rural counties in Westmoreland County and Greene County. The name of the counties aren't important, but those are rural counties outside of the city of Pittsburgh. It also included part of Allegheny County, which is around the city of Pittsburgh, which is basically a city population, city dwelling. Allegheny County went largely for Hillary Clinton. It is a largely Democratic county. The surrounding counties, not so much. The results of Lamb's race reflected that. He did incredibly good in the county that was in the city, and it was just enough that he won the election. So basically, this is more or less what the Democrats have already done. Hillary dominated in the city. She dominated in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. It's the rest of the state where she did terrible. Conor Lamb's results are a smaller version of that. He dominated in the city. In the surrounding areas, not so much. But he had just enough in the city to win the election. Unless every single congressional race mirrors that demographic. That formula where Democrats are going to be like, hey, we're not Trump, that's enough to win. It's not going to work. So is Trump fatigue enough to win some? Yes, it's enough to win some. And if you have no message, and if you're if you're hardly different from your Republican opponent, Trump fatigue might be enough to win in a district where you have just enough of a city center that it can carry you. Or if your opponent is a pedophile, you might be marginally more popular enough to win. Again, both of these victories were by less than 2 percentage points. So, and this is going to be what the Democrats run on in 2018. Because, again, the Democratic establishment, the first priority is stopping progressive change. Their second priority is maybe beating a Republican. In some cases, you get to have both. In the case of Conor Lamb, you're going to get to have both. Now, does Conor Lamb seem like a reasonable guy? Yeah, he does. And from my memories of him, he seems like a nice guy. Is he better than the Republican? Yeah. I'd rather have him in there than Sacchione. However, is this incremental approach really going to lead to some bigger victories in 2018 and 2020? I don't think so. And statistically, it doesn't. I mean, it's not like people keep talking about how deep red the district was and so forth, but it's like there was a large portion of Allegheny County, which, again, was largely pro-Hillary, has always gone Democrat. And keep in mind, it's not like Pennsylvania is some deep red state. Pennsylvania went red for the first time during the presidential. This was the first time since 1988. Is Pennsylvania a swing state? Yeah. But it's definitely a blue-shaded swing state. So, and again, I do have a personal connection here. I am happy for my friends. I do see a difference between Conor Lamb and the Republican. However, when you break it down policy-wise, unfortunately, the difference is not that big. And this type of incremental approach is not going to lead to some quote-unquote blue wave. It really isn't. And if the blue wave is just a bunch of Doug Jones who always vote with the Republicans anyway, what's the difference? So those are my thoughts on it. And again, I'm happy for some of my friends. It's impossible not to be. I do think he's better than the Republican. However, this whole, now Dems know that people are so sick of Trump, they can win anywhere. And the only message you need is, hey, we're not Trump. Somebody else posted this on Facebook, and I forget who, and I'm going to paraphrase what they said, but they said, look, our job is not to run center-right candidates and hope that people are so sick of Trump that they vote for that center-right candidate. Our job is to transcend progressive messaging into the heartland. That's the difference. And yes, that can be done. I'm not calling for a pony or instant abs. I'm calling for something that can and has been done. You know who's done it? Bernie Sanders. You know who's done it on a smaller level? Laura Moser in the heart of Texas. It can be done. You know who's doing it in Virginia? Justin Sanopietro. It can be done. People are connecting with populism in the heartland. That's part of the reason Trump won. He ran under the guise of a Republican populist, which is an oxymoron, but he sold people the snake oil and they bought it. If a fake populist can win in the heartland, a real populist can win in the heartland. So those are my take on that. I'm happy for my friends. I think Conor is a nice, reasonable guy that I hope can be, that I hope he can evolve on some things. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But this incremental approach is not a long-term path to victory. And, the Democratic establishment wants to pretend it is because they don't want to really do an autopsy on their party because that's not donor-friendly. They want to continue more of the same, be donor-friendly, and maybe beat a Republican here and there. All right, so that's what I got. That's my take on it. And yeah. So anyway, you see why I wasn't really tweeting much about it. Sake says, Dem have no clue how to learn from victories. I agree. Forever Voting Third Party says, if people can unite in the 1800s, why not build a better framework? Let's see. Limetown, can we talk about the spy poisoning in the UK? In less than 24 hours, they've condemned Russia, are expelling all Russian diplomats, and are passing sanctions. Tweet me an article. We'll talk about it. Absolutely. Corbyn is the only one asking for evidence in an investigation. That's very true. Stephen Carl says Conor Lamb is our new Doug Jones. Hooray. Making my mornings great again. Ron Placone does. Pandora Rice says, thank you very much, Pandora. I appreciate it. How do I get my t-shirt? Through my Patreon, I'm guessing. Yes, if you are a patron, if you are among the first 50 patrons, you are getting a free t-shirt in the mail. Expect an email from me asking for your info. If you are after the first 50 patrons, you're going to be able to get discounted t-shirts through the Patreon. If you are not a patron, that's cool. Please consider joining, but that's cool. I'll have t-shirts for sale up on Spreadshirt soon. You can also order them directly from me. And more info on that is coming soon. You can also, easiest way to get a shirt is grab one at a show. I'll physically have them with me there. But I am getting an online store up soon. And, let's see. So yeah, that's how you get the t-shirts. Paul Eisenberg, why is he better than the Republican if he's a wolf in sheep's clothing? Same policies, but dishonest where he's coming from. I guess they're talking about Conor Lamb. And, again, sorry, I showed some humanity and said that some of my friends were on the campaign. I know for some of you that's not allowed. But, Paul, to answer your question, he is better than the Republican because at least he would listen to progressive policies, whereas the Republican would just shoot them down immediately. At least he's not for repealing the ACA. At least he's not for, at least he will, he refuses to ever touch Social Security or Medicare. So yeah, he is different. Is he a lot different? No, not really. Is he anywhere close to the policies I would have liked? Abso-frickin-lutely not. Would I rather have him in there than someone like a Rick Sacchione? Yeah, but again, you're not really giving me much of a choice. If I could have voted there, would I have bothered voting for him? Honestly, if I didn't have the personal connection, no. With the personal connection, yeah, I probably would have. All right, so let's move on to other things. Ian actually points out something really important here. The Libertarian candidate stole votes from the Republican. Yeah, that's true. If it wasn't for the Libertarian candidate, he probably would not have won. Howdy, Becca. Becca, how are you? I am very good. This is from David. Sorry, guys, I had to trace the timeline. Schumer says he isn't actively urging Dems to oppose Pompeo Haspel. All right. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he is not currently urging his caucus to oppose Mike Pompeo's nomination to be Secretary of State or Jenna Haspel's nomination to lead the CIA. At this point, I am not, Schumer told reporters on Tuesday, while stressing both nominees will face unanswered and outstanding questions. Trump's early morning tweet that he was ousting Secretary of State Rex Tillerson caught most of Washington by surprise. Trump also announced that Pompeo, currently the director of the CIA, would take over Tillerson's job, while Haspel, the CIA deputy director, would succeed Pompeo. Pompeo was confirmed for his current post in a 66-32 vote last year. 14 Democrats, including Schumer, supported him. Yeah, this isn't surprising. So they want, I mean, Pompeo has been tougher on pretty much all countries, and is more hawkish on all countries. You know which country that includes? Russia. That includes Russia. They even say it in the article. Schumer noted he wants to know if the former House member will be tougher on Russia if he's confirmed to be the country's top diplomat. Your Democratic leadership would rather start a world war. Would rather start. I mean, it's unbelievable. And David sends another article here that points out that Rand Paul is actually opposing Mike Pompeo. So let's see why Rand Paul's opposing it. Senator Rand Paul said he would oppose Mike Pompeo. He will oppose the nominations and do everything he can to block them. He's the first Republican to come out against the two. He pointed out that he's doing this because of Pompeo's support of torture and by their love for the Iraq War. Paul said he is opposing Haspel as well due to her involvement in the enhanced interrogation program during the George W. Bush's administration. She showed joyful glee at someone who was being tortured. I find it just amazing that anyone would consider having this woman at head of the CIA. Man. Rand Paul, the voice of reason. Isn't that, how telling is that? We count on Rand Paul. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's surprising at all that Democrats are going along with this guy. He's more hawkish on Russia. And that's what they want. Ron, aren't Democrats the anti-war option? No, we have no anti-war option. There is no anti-war option. Are you opposed to war? Do you live in the United States? Nobody represents you. Nobody. Ian says, I've been voting green since 96, and I have heard all this for me voting my conscience. Okay, cool. I voted green in 2016, and I'll probably vote green again in 2020, depending on who they throw up there. And there's a couple greens running at the local level. Convo Couch says, voting Republican is like jumping off a 10-story building. Voting Democrat is like doing a trust fall from the 9th story. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Unless you're voting for one of the progressives in the primary. Anyone see Hillary falling down the steps in India? I did not see that. Unless by that you mean her awful speech. Unless you mean it metaphorically. I didn't know she actually fell down the steps there, but maybe she did. Just make the terrorists, torture question mark, just make the terrorists watch The Last Jedi. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie. But to each their own. Edwin points out, my wife is a teacher and we have 3 teens joining the walkout. About 200 students are participating, demanding Congress to act for gun laws. That's awesome. Russ just tuned in. Not sure if you covered this already. Yeah, I didn't cover this part. So here we go. I'll give this a Get Your News On with Ron retweet. So Conor Lamb isn't going to support Pelosi. Conor Lamb, citing need for new leadership, will not support Nancy Pelosi as Democratic leader. Conor Lamb, the Democrat running to replace Tim Murphy, said that if elected, he would like to see House Democrats replace Nancy Pelosi as their leader. So there you go. Paul, if you're still watching, there's a way this guy's a little bit better. He'll support Stephen Jaffe. And you know what? I know some people that are close to Conor Lamb. I'm going to encourage him to endorse Stephen Jaffe. So yeah, there you go. He's a little bit better. Would you rather have a Democrat who is slightly more moderate on policy and will support primarying out Pelosi, or a Republican who doesn't care about any of the above? Yes, there is a difference. Is it a small difference? Yes. Is it a long-term working differential? No, it's not. However, would I rather have that than Rick Secchione? Yeah. This guy could endorse Jaffe. And I'm going to do my part to make sure that happens. So, there you go. Pelosi is voting Republican. I don't know what you're referring to specifically, but yeah, I believe you. Pelosi pretty much is a Republican. Pelosi, you know, we don't have 2 parties in this country. We have the money party. I mean, yeah, we talk about that all the time. We know that. I texted my dad this morning and I literally said, I'm glad the Republican that went to our high school beat the Republican that didn't. And it was meant as a tongue-in-cheek comment. So yeah, at least somebody like a Conor Lamb can do stuff like this. Whereas if Rick Secchione still sat in that seat, we wouldn't even have a chance. But again, this kind of incrementalism is not a recipe for success. Again, if he didn't have the libertarian taking those votes away, and if he didn't have the city center, which always goes Democrat no matter what anyway, he wouldn't have won. So this whole idea, you know, we need to sell populism in the heartland. That's what needs to happen. And establishment Democrats aren't interested in doing that. You know who is interested in doing that? The progressives trying to primary them out. That's who's interested in doing that. Stephen Jaffe wants to do that. The guy who's going to primary out Pelosi. That's who's interested in doing that. So there you go. That is one thing to be a little optimistic about. And, you know, I have some, I'm going to contact Conor Lamb today. And I'm going to say, hey, man, you know, we don't agree on a lot, but we agree on Pelosi. So how about you make an endorsement? So there you go. Thank you for sending that, Russ. I appreciate that. That's a good article. All right, this is from Uppity Bumpkin. And guys, we still got some room for some more articles. So if you still want to send one, please do. I know we're about midway through, but I think we still got a room for a little more. And I'll go over to the Reddit as well. Here's a lighter story for us. World's oldest message in a bottle found by beach walker in Australia. So a gin bottle was thrown overboard from a German ship before ending up on a beach in Western Australia 132 years later. The world's oldest message in a bottle has been found on a beach in Western Australia by a couple who thought it might look good on a bookshelf. Tonya Illman found the 132-year-old gin bottle in the dunes near Wedge Island in January. Her husband, Kim Illman, told Guardian Australia she initially thought it was rubbish, but picked it up because it had distinct raised lettering and it would be at home on their bookshelf. Inside, she found a roll of paper printed in German and dated to June 1886. That is badass. So what did it say? So it was, let's see. So it was, it doesn't say what it said. Yeah, it doesn't even tell you what it says. Okay. Cool. Yeah, there we go. Maybe someday we'll find out what it said. But they did confirm it is in fact 132 years old. And that's pretty neat. Maybe someday we'll find out what it said. Cool. We're going over to the Reddit now. Mike Pompeo apparently is really in bed with Coke Industries. Trump's Secretary of State pick is the #1 all-time recipient of Coke industry money. Wow. That's quite an accomplishment. They give money to right wingers like it's candy because they got a lot of money to give. And this is their dude, Mike Pompeo. By the way, Mike Pompeo, Democrats don't oppose him. Democrats don't oppose Mike Pompeo. President Donald Trump has officially fired Secretary of State Rex Tillerson and intends to nominate current CIA Director Mike Pompeo in his place. We already know that. But here's the meat of this. In just 4 election cycles, 2010 through 2016, Pompeo received $335,000 from Coke industry employees, including $92,000 from the Coke family, $69,000 from the Coke industry PAC, $417,000 from Americans from Prosperity, which is basically still just the Koch brothers, plus another $87,000 from other outside groups heavily funded by the Kochs. That's over $900,000 to buy one congressman. He denies climate change. He's cool with pollution. Doesn't like the Paris Climate Accord. Cool with torture. Cool with Iraq. Is hawkish on all countries, but those countries include Russia, so Democrats are cool with it. Do you like the idea of peace? Nobody represents you. Nobody. Nobody. Abso-freaking-lutely nobody. Don't like the economy of war? Tough. Tough. The Democrats are the enemy. No, they're not. No, they're not. Republicans love war. Democrats love war. They're just more subtle about it. Teacher actually, this happened 21 minutes ago. A teacher accidentally fires a gun in a California class. 3 people were hurt. And this article won't load. So there you go. That's the headline. And ironically enough, I think I just heard a gunshot in my neighborhood. Happening in real time, folks. Happening in real time. This is from Tim. The Unknown Truth About Korea, U.S. Sanctioned Death Squads and War Crimes. Okay, this is an advertisement for a book. Cool. Blood on the Tracks is the book. Wait, no, never mind. That's the other book. The Unknown Truth About Korea, U.S. Sanctioned Death Squads and War Crimes, 1945 to 1953. So, guys, check out that book. It talks about all that history, and in the future, if you want to send me a book recommendation, that's very cool. I appreciate it, but if you could let me know that ahead of time, that's cool, because otherwise I'll click on it thinking it's a news article, and it's just a thing for a book, which is cool, but we don't have time to unpack a book on an hour-long stream. I appreciate book recommendations. We talk about book recommendations on this stream. Just, give me a heads up if that's what you're doing. Like, hey, man, not a news article, but a book recommendation. That way I know. That's all. Yeah, because I was like, what's this about? Oh, it's, this is from Jesse. Del Monte's pay ratio is largest to date at 1,465 to 1. You guys know what that means? That means the people at the top, the CEOs, make 1,465 to 1 to the workers. For every dollar a worker makes, they make $1,465. The review of some of the early corporate disclosures shows the gaps between CEO and worker pay run astoundingly high among Fortune 500 firms, as well as smaller financial firms. Del Monte Produce, makers of the beloved fruit cups present in every elementary school, paid their CEO 1,465 times more than the typical employee. Del Monte had to reveal this astounding information as the result of new regulation requiring publicly held firms to report their CEO worker pay gaps. Corporations fought tooth and nail for this. Now, right now, it's about, I believe, average. Last time I checked, average was about 475 to 1. That was last time. This article points out it was about 347 to 1 in 2016. That figure's a little lower than the one I saw. So it's around that range, between 3 and 400, I guess between 3 and 500 technically to 1 is average CEO to worker pay. So for every $300 to $500 a CEO makes, a worker makes $1. Del Monte is 1,465 to 1. Marathon Petroleum has the second largest pay ratio, reported at 935 to 1. And they never, other countries don't have anywhere close to this, by the way. You can look into all these statistics from other countries. No one comes close to this. Like, pretty much nobody comes close to this. Are there rich and poor gaps? Of course. Does a CEO make more than a worker? Yeah, that happens. But it's nowhere like this. Nowhere close. Tommaso said, all hail King Bezos. I disagree, Tommaso. It's not going to be King Bezos. It's going to be Emperor Bezos. He doesn't need that king designation. Let's not bring royalty into this. He just wants to be emperor. 1,465 to 1. That's insane. Like, there's no way to defend this because, like, I've read Wealth of Nations. I've read, like they did not. They called for high wages for workers. They called for not a huge discrepancy between the people at the top and the worker. All that's in those books. People like to step over that when they're defending capitalism. But that's all in there. Jesse points out, I don't even have 1,000 pennies. So Del Monte winning the predatory award of the day. Del Monte, they make fruit cups. Isn't that awesome? That they're the worst to workers. They make fruit cups, like stuff people usually eat to feel good. Next, we're going to be like, next year it's going to be a bracelet company. They make friendship bracelets, and the CEO makes 10,000 times the average worker. They make 10,000 times the average worker, but you get a free bracelet every December. Sleep tight. Popcorn asked the question, are you saying capitalism is bad? No, I'm saying capitalism is awful because it is. It's set up to do this. That's what it's set up to do. Marcia Smith says capitalism is a cancer on society. Jennifer says Bezos makes Palpatine look like a puppy. Yes, but he has not yet developed a product that he can shoot lightning stuff out of his hand. Give him time. Give him time. Darth Bezos. That's kind of funny. I'm standing by my prediction. There's going to be a bracelet company where the workers make 10,000 times less. Only kings and emperors have their own currency. Oh, wait, so does Jeff Bezos. That's right. We covered that. That's right. How a Twitter fight over Bernie Sanders revealed a network of fake accounts. All right, let's dive into this. Let me go ahead and give this a retweet. Somebody posted this over on the Reddit, and we'll go ahead and talk about it now because this is the second time this is being sent to me. How a Twitter fight over Bernie Sanders revealed a network of fake accounts. One Democratic Party consultant said an unnamed client controlled many of these accounts. Okay. When Russians at the Internet Research Agency interfered in U.S. politics. So dumb. The goalpost keeps getting moved. First it was the 2016 election and they colluded. Then it was they interfered. Then it was, oh, they're interfering in our politics because a lot of those memes came after the election. The goalposts keep moving. They interfered in U.S. politics. What does that even mean? I interfere in U.S. politics every day. So do we. All of us do. All of us interfere. What the? It's so stupid. Already this article sucks, but let's see if there's some interesting information in here. All right. Let's see. They created false online personas, fake political groups, blah, blah, blah. It's not too far from what some U.S. political consultants are doing themselves. Take Sally Albright, a Democratic Party communications consultant who backed Hillary Clinton. Unsurprisingly, Albright is vocally opposed to Donald Trump, a big supporter of the resistance to his administration. She is also one of the loudest, most divisive voices attacking Bernie Sanders, Clinton's one-time Democratic primary, and his left-wing supporters. Albright continues to claim that Sanders is a fraud, a liar, racist, and corrupt, among many other things. In one instance, she declared that the policy idea of free college, as promoted by Sanders, was racist. What the hell? What? Okay, so according to this person, free college is racist. Wow, I'm not sure the mental gymnastics to come to that conclusion, but wow. Trevor, a Sanders supporter who declined to provide his last name, goes by liking online, noticed a strange pattern of behavior when Albright responded to him. Her tweets addressing him were rapidly retweeted by the same series of accounts. After an extensive amount of research, these were not normal accounts. They appeared to be bots. Albright told HuffPost that the accounts were voluntarily handed over by their original new users to an unnamed client of hers to be automated in an analytics program. All these accounts were pro-Trump, anti-Trump, or excuse me. All these accounts were pro-Clinton, anti-Trump, and anti-Sanders. Twitter allows users to automate their accounts, including setting up automatic retweeting and liking of other accounts. This increases activity on the platform. The ability to swap a debate is a problem for political discourse around the world. Automating Twitter accounts to retweet and otherwise promote specific messages thus becomes a tactic to silence political debate and squelch free speech. Share Blue was also retweeted by a network of fake accounts, especially when they had something negative to say about Bernie Sanders. These accounts also liked hashtag resistance celebrities like Eric Garland, Harvard professor Lawrence Tribe. When Albright led a Twitter campaign to attack a 2017 women's conference for inviting Sanders to speak, after Clinton, Warren, and Gillibrand turned them down, the automated account network deployed her retweet. Yeah, so I mean, Hillary Clinton unapologetically has her own Twitter farm. Correct the Record is a Twitter farm. That's what they are. A troll farm. A Twitter troll farm. Triple T. Popcorn, are you being annoying? Let's see. If you're hungry, one or two. Popcorn. So if I start a company, I should not make money. No, that's not. Yeah. Okay. Not trying to. Okay, cool. Just making sure you're not trying to be annoying. Let's see. You really shouldn't call other people in the chat uneducated, Popcorn, since you kind of demonstrated a very, very elementary understanding of capitalism. If you think that capitalism just means the ability to make money, that is at best rudimentary. So you really shouldn't be, like if you want to talk in the chat, that's fine. But I wouldn't be attacking other people's intellects based on what you've said thus far. Just some advice. So anyway, markets have existed long before capitalism. That is true. And markets used to not exist. Oh, mind blown. All right, let's see here. Yeah, so it's going on, and they're okay with these types of Twitter troll farms. They're okay with, if it's from Russia, they have a problem. That's when they have, if it's domestic, they don't care. Twitter doesn't care. We're cracking down on false information on Twitter. By the way, unless you're domestic and for the Democratic establishment, then we're fine with you. If you're from Russia and have a bunch of memes that are barely in English, Oh, that we have a problem with that. Or if you're anti-war, we got a problem with that. But, you know, if you're kind of for one partisanship or another, we're fine with that. We don't care. So, yeah, that's... This is not... Yeah, I mean, it's cool that they're finally talking about this. But, yes, and I have a feeling that everybody on this stream has been attacked by a Clinton troll before. I have. I totally have. I mean, I've had a Twitter thread where all of a sudden you'll see this person hijack an account, and you'll hear like somebody goes, "You're a Bernie bro," and blah blah blah, "You're an idiot," and blah blah blah, and you're blah blah blah. And then you go to their account and they have 0 followers, and they don't have an actual face on their avatar, like it's one of those eggs. You know what I mean? They're bots. They're freaking bots. Or they're hired trolls. That's what they are. I've been attacked on every social media platform. Then I'll click the thing. And sometimes it is an actual person, yeah. But most of the time it's like, or even if it is somebody that seems like an actual person, you'll notice all they do is troll people to the left of Hillary Clinton. Which is, by the way, any progressive. So... is that person getting a paycheck from Correct the Record? Yeah, probably. They're an actual person in this case, but they are a literal hired Twitter troll. That's what that campaign did, unapologetically. And a lot of these accounts are fake. Thank you for the sunny face and the magic wand, Winkle. I appreciate it very much. So there you go. But Russia. Ernie B says, any plans to extend to 2 hours? All right, let me go to our last article, and then we'll do some housekeeping. This is from Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Or just Yellow Brick Road, excuse me. There was no goodbye there. I'm always thinking about music. All right, this is going to be our last article. Then we'll do some housekeeping. And I will get to more Reddit ones tomorrow. Apparently, psychopaths make good CEOs. Think about the worst boss you've ever had. Think about it. Is somebody coming to mind? I had this temp job at an office once. My boss was this like weird stickler for everything, and she was like super, super neurotic and not very nice. She was the worst boss I ever had. I haven't had many bosses because I'm just not cut out for having a boss. Did they yell at you for no reason? Yes. Did their incompetence make your life worse? I wouldn't say she was incompetence. It's more like her neuroses made my life worse. Was their vision for the company ruthless and unwavering in a way that was detrimental to their employees but very good for them? She didn't have that much power, so I don't know. Were they charming? No. Smart? No. Dangerously upbeat? No. Surrounded by an inner circle of lackeys that seemed impervious to their actions while everyone else suffered in silence? Actually, a lot of other people really didn't like her. Maybe they're just difficult, maybe they're extremely driven, or maybe you're working for a psychopath. A panel at South by Southwest. Man, I wish I was at South by right now. It's always a good music festival and film festival. Takes on this very topic, presenting the thesis that many successful CEOs in, yes, Silicon Valley share a lot of psychopathic traits. Yeah, if you have billions of dollars, you're the richest person the face of the earth has ever seen, and you don't give your employees a living wage, yeah, you're a psychopath. How can you not be? You're a psychopath. So what is a psychopath? A true psychopath is someone that has a blend of emotional, interpersonal, lifestyle, and behavioral deficits, but an uncanny ability to mask them. They come across as very charming, very gregarious, but underneath there's a profound lack of remorse, callousness, and a lack of empathy. My workers don't make enough money to survive. Oh, well, Bedelba. I'm doing fine. They should just go start their own Amazon or start their own Walmart. Just start your own company exploiting people. It's an irrational act to start a company. You have to be uncompromising in your vision, which requires a healthy dose of both ego and persistence. You have to be willing to sacrifice almost everything for success. Yeah, but you don't need to exploit people in the process. Having a work of passion and being an exploitive predator are not one and the same. And we think that they're one and the same. We're sold this bogus idea that they're one and the same. They're not. Somebody that works hard and works passionately and somebody that exploits people, those are not the same. You can do both, but you don't have to. You don't have to do both. Because if you spin it one way, that's ambition, the article says. If you take a second look and look a bit closer, the bottom starts to fall out. Psychopaths are willing to manipulate those around them by deception. So there you go. Psychopaths make good CEOs. Predators make good CEOs. Dog eat dog is encouraged. Screwing over your colleagues is encouraged. And it's a gross system. All right, guys. So on that uplifting note, we are totally out of time. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping before we sign off. So, guys, here's what I decided to do. My next goal over on Patreon, we're going to get this show to an hour and a half. We're going to get it to an hour and a half. Then we're going to push it to 2 with a goal after. So my next Patreon goal does include getting that show to an hour and a half. So I'm working on that. If you can support, go over to patreon.com/Ron Placone. I want to get a monitor behind me. I really do. I want to get that. I want to get a better camera. I want to get better audio equipment. I really want to do what I can to bring this stream to the next level. I need your help to get there. What do you get in return on the Patreon? You get content every Wednesday and Sunday. You get free tickets to my shows when I'm playing your town. You're going to get my album delivered to your inbox. By the way, you know what I posted on the Patreon today? I'm recording a couple songs to be on my comedy album in addition to the comedy, and I released one of them today on the Patreon. Patrons got to hear it first. And yes, by the way, I know some of you guys asked. We did record Time for a Revolution. We're working on tweaking it. That song is not finished. But patrons, you're going to hear the rough mix of it soon. I'm going to be posting that soon as well. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. You can pay at whatever level you're comfortable with, and you get all the same benefits. No matter what level you pay at, you get all the same benefits. And by the way, that's been working quite well for all of you guys. Oh, capitalism is brr, brr, brr. I do a pay what you can level, and people like it just fine, and I like it just fine, and everybody's happy. And the people that are able to give a little bit more, they give a little bit more, and I appreciate it very much. The people that can't do that, they give $1, and I appreciate that very much. And no, nobody complains about it. Thus far, nobody has complained. Nobody said, why pay more? Why don't I give? Everyone's like, dude, that's awesome. Everyone gets the same. Because maybe, just maybe, a social safety net in the world isn't a bad thing. Maybe, just maybe, that's the only way we've made it as a society so far. Guys, I gotta go. We are totally out of time. I love you all very much. We do this every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time over on the Live Me and over on the YouTube. So tune in, tune often. I'll send you out with the theme. Get your news on with Ron. If you want to know what's going on, we're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. If you want to know what's going on, let's hope they don't start World War III. You can tweet me article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news on with Ron. You wanna know what's going on? Get our news on today. This has been Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. You guys tweet me articles. That's how we build this show. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone. Patreon.com/Ron Placone if you are so able. RonPlacone.com. Got some tour dates in the works. I love you all very much. I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until then, stay safe out there. Peace.